Holy crap! Have you seen this? Today we'll be looking at the brand new Mech Belt from Defense Mechanisms. This thing is just ridiculous. Let's get started already. So today I have a really exciting new belt design from Defense Mechanisms, and I'll be honest, this is the first time I'm seeing another generational leap in belt design. Like, the innovation of the tegris belt itself is pretty new. And as we go, you can see some feature sets that just haven't been done yet. As a reminder though, if you're interested in this product or any of the others, make sure to use discount code TLDCO to save yourself a few bucks. But before we get too far, let's take a look at our current battle belt ranking and see where things stand. In our first spot is our Axle Eclipse, with its low cost and low weight design that gives you an extreme load bearing and durability that has outclassed so many belts so far. Next, we have our Lead Devil belt that redefined the first generation of Molly belt to such a fine degree that it became one of the best duty belts we've seen to date. Third is the Ronin Senshi with its robust construction and build quality that would survive through literally anything you threw at it. Fourth is the Warrior Poet Society belt with its amazing features and pricing, along with an inner belt system that our entire team adores. And in fifth is the Wilder Tactical with its super smart attachments and comfort that make this a no-brainer for duty use. I've also included all the other belts so you can see kind of where they ended up on our list. And no, I don't want comments about how much you like the CHLK. You're not convincing anyone. So again, today we'll be looking at the Mech Belt from Defense Mechanisms, and I know we've talked about it a few times, but let's revisit it one more time as to just who exactly Defense Mechanisms is. The folks that make up Defense Mechanism is a team of veterans whose goal is to push for uncompromised readiness through technical excellence, and that excellence flows from their training and skills development classes directly into their innovation in gear and product design. And the two things mesh really well as they can test all their gear in their training to find out what works in the real world and what only works on Instagram. So then, what is the Mech Belt? And with so many belts on the market, what makes this one special? The Mech Belt is the brand new belt that offers a generational jump from the already impressive Tegris belt design to provide a lightweight solution that can be quickly adapted to various mission sets, from load-bearing overland to quick rapid engagements. And I did sneak out a video on my belt loadout if you want to see how I set everything up and what all the different pieces are I'm using. I'll link to that up here. I just highly recommend you take a look at it, as the belt allows you to do some really unique things and set some things up in a way that you may not have been able to do previously. I will warn you, I've been playing with this Mech Belt for a couple weeks now, and I'm just really excited to show it to you. So what we'll do is we'll look at all the bits up close, and I'll show you all of them individually, and then we'll do a series of belt tests to include price, ease of attachment, buckle style, weight, rigidity, inner belt design, outer belt design, and overall inner and outer belt adhesion. And then we'll do some final rankings and see how this belt stacks up after we've seen what it can do. All right, though, let's get to it and see this belt up close and personal. First, we'll start with the inner belt. One of the things I'm immediately excited about is that we see a very similar design to the Warrior Poet inner EDC belt that the whole team uses. The inner belt works by sliding one side into the opposing buckle and then cinching down the belt by pulling outward. And this style is amazing compared to the fold-over ones. You know, the inner belts that just fold on top of each other. Those belts are just horrible and make adjusting for an EDC an absolute chore. And I'll tell you, one of the coolest things about this also is that the inner belt has a ton of adjustment range. And then that would allow me to use the same belt if I gain or lose a bunch of weight. And I'm surprised by this because you have to see a lot of belts to know that sizing is a problem. Like, getting a new belt in the correct size can be kind of a challenge for the consumer because the actual sizing can be done very differently across a bunch of different companies. And I get folks who contact me all the time, and then we try to sort out the belts to determine if they run small or large or actually true to size. And it can be super frustrating. So you can kind of now understand how bonkers it is to have so much play in the adjustment of the inner belt. Going back to the inner belt, we also see it has a loop on the outside. Thank goodness. And the entire loop area not only flows across the entire belt, but also up and around the top edges to protect from rubbing against the user to add some additional comfort. And this is really smart again, as even the Warrior Poet Society inner EDC belt that we all love actually has some edges on it that can be a bit sharp that we've noticed that definitely irritates some people who have some tactical girth. So this is actually a really nice improvement over that team favorite inner belt. The inner belt also uses a full layer of tegris. This gives an insane level of structure and rigidity that makes connecting in an EDC a breeze. The simple side adjustment means you can loosen the belt, add in your EDC, and cinch it all down. Or you can loosen the inner belt, remove your EDC, and snug up the inner belt to do a full mech belt setup. Yes, that means I'm going to show you the outer belt. Let's do it. Here, we'll start with the outer layer of the mech belt. This entire outside layer can be done in all of the available belt colors to give this clean look on the outside. And I hear you all may be wondering, does it not have MOLLE? But as I've teased you about, it actually does. Check this out. As we look into the layers of the belt, we see the inside of the belt actually uses 2 layers of tegris instead of 1. And then on the inside of the tegris, we see slotted MOLLE sections to connect in all of our gear with legacy MOLLE configurations. But did you catch that? There's 2 layers of tegris on the outer belt and then another layer on the inner belt, giving you 3 full layers of tegris to distribute weight and add rigidity to the entire system. And it works extremely well. The MOLLE being on the inside of the tegris means all of your weight of all your items are supported by the actual tegris core, tegris, whatever, instead of the actual fabric that's on the outside of the belt just trying to hold it in place. It's pretty dang smart, and I've not ever seen this design like this before. The inner part of the belt is also fully hook backed, and the hook spans from the top of the belt all the way to the bottom. This is a nice improvement over the axle where the hook was only on half of the belt, and the mech belt will likely give much more adhesion with twice the surface area of comparable belts. Moving to the front of the mech belt, we see this long section of loop that connects into the hook section on the belt when tightened down. And this 2 connection point design is actually incorporated so the belt itself can't like flex or collapse when it's on the body, and it works really well. Moving last to the buckle, the mech belt uses a Cobra 25 buckle. The buckle is small to stay out of the way, and due to the double connection method, the buckle doesn't take the lion's share of the belt load and works better in a smaller design. Donning the belt is easy as you place the side with the hoop section on first, then work the belt around you. You can then place the belt into position and lock it in place on the buckle and make any buckle adjustments you may need to do. And what I'm seeing is just that incredibly smart tegris belt design just taken to a totally different level, where it actually uses the inner tegris core to mount and carry gear in a much more efficient way. All right, though, let's see what it can do. Let's do some tests. And let's begin with one that usually does pretty poorly on some other belts. We'll start with the pricing section. And surprisingly, this one gets 5 stars. At an MSRP of $110 for the outer and $45 for the inner, you get a next generational belt setup for hundreds of dollars less than many competitors. And with those cost savings, the mech belt still has features the competitors don't have. The mech belt is really one of those times where you actually get more than what you pay for. Buy less, cry less? At this point, I just don't know why people would pay twice the cost for belts that are worse. All right, though, for our next category is ease of attachment, and again, it gets 5 stars. With the MOLLE Plus attachment system shown in our belt loadout, it's silly easy to attach gear or move things around or even change the entire loadout in minutes. The inner MOLLE allows for all legacy MOLLE connections such as holsters and knives that use that old style, and this combination allows for some truly unique gear combinations. Like offhand axes. Listen, it's gonna be a thing. Trust me. All right, next we'll look at buckle style, and I give this one a 4. As mentioned, the mech belt uses the standard Cobra 25 buckle that holds the entire system securely to augment the second hook and loop attachment point. While the buckle is fairly standard, I gave an extra point here as the smaller buckle actually works better, more than the large buckle would have, to just stay out of the way and function better overall and not just pinch your skin 100 times. And no, the belt isn't load rated, so there's not a lot of emphasis on that stupidly large Cobra buckle, but I'll tell you this, no belt with the Cobra buckle is actually load rated. The Cobra buckle itself has some safety issues, so go ahead and get mad about that. But while you're writing in some nasty comments, let's put in the next category, and that's going to be weight. And again, 5 stars. The mech belt is extremely light, while still offering a level of support and rigidity that no other belt can even touch. The 2 layers of tegris weigh almost nothing, and this super lightweight system allows me to support this whole setup of gear and axes, and distribute it so well that it feels like I'm carrying nothing. It's pretty baffling that this belt can be this lightweight and then still do so well. All right, the next category is rigidity, and this belt absolutely crushes it with 5 stars. I almost need a new rating scale. With the 3 layers of tegris total and the 2 outer layers supporting the weight structure, you get a comfy and rigid belt that moves in all the directions you want it to, but not at all in the directions you don't. Even without using a leg strap, I found the holster doesn't bend or flip up into the body, and the tegris works really well to keep all the bits in place as you move around. Oh, I got an idea. And a lot of other belts I see just aren't rigid enough to support a holster without running a leg strap, and it just makes kind of this mess. All right, the next category is going to be our inner belt, and it gets a 5 again. I see so many swing and misses with inner belts. It's exciting to see someone get it so right. With the inner tegris design, it makes for easy use as EDC with quick sizing adjustments to add or remove your gear. The loop area extending all the way around removes all the sharp edges and corners while still having one of the lightest and strongest inner belts on the market. And this is how you make an absolutely amazing inner belt. Now, I'm not sure who's out there that needs to hear this, but nobody wants spaghetti noodle belts. No one. And this inner belt has actually taken over my Warrior Poet Society as my normal everyday inner EDC belt, and that says a lot. All right, then let's move on to our next category of outer belt design, and I'm not gonna surprise anyone, this thing absolutely gets a 5. The outer mech belt provides an innovation that pushes the limits of even the best belts on a market to etch out an entirely new tier of features and quality. The outer belt gives you sleek and sexy lines while hiding an internal MOLLE section for Legacy MOLLE or Hook and Loop for MOLLE Plus. All with an extremely lightweight double tegris design that uses a double connection of buckle and hook and loop to keep it all locked in place. And it's holy good. But as if we needed to keep going, we actually do have one more category, and that's gonna be the inner and outer belt adhesion. And I'm not gonna surprise anyone. Yeah, it gets a 5 again. The inner and outer belt both have full hook and loop across the entire mating surface. So you get this super strong connection. Having the MOLLE on the inside also means the hook is always exposed to the loop underneath. So you don't get areas where the belt isn't actually connected like you see in some other belts. Jumping around and moving with a fully loaded belt caused no issues, and I don't think I could rip this belt off even if I tried. And even with this belt fully loaded with an axe and a full-size 2011, this whole system didn't even flinch. But good grief, I think that's all of our tests, and I'm pretty sure it almost got a perfect score. If you're not already loading the DM page to order one, then I don't know what you're doing with your life. Hey, crazy, make sure to use the discount code though. All right, though, let's see where this stacked up on our ranking chart, even though I don't really think it's a mystery. I had absolutely no question in placing the DM Mech Belt in first place. The design gives you this insanely lightweight setup that can be adapted to meet speed or distance mission sets that defines an entirely new generation of belts. And it was a treat to not only get to see this belt and show it off to you, but we also got to give one of these away in our 20,000 subscriber giveaway. So to Defense Mechanisms, I wanted to say big thanks for giving us these amazing opportunities, and thanks for supporting our channel and all of our viewers. Well, I hope this video on the Defense Mechanisms Mech Belt was useful in your purchasing decision. If you're not ready to buy one now, then I don't know what's wrong with you. All right, though, I want to say thanks to all of our Patreon supporters and all of our YouTube members. You guys make all this possible where we get to work with all these great guys like Defense Mechanisms. And I want to say thanks to everyone that likes, comments, and subscribes. Comment down below what color you're going to get your Defense Mechanisms Mech Belt in. All right, everyone, Walsh out. What you think of that?